If you somehow manage to get yourself Honey-I-Shrunk-the-Kids-ed, odds are you're going to need every advantage you can if you want to keep your head when even ants are the size of angry wolves. Luckily for you, we've spent an ungodly amount of time running around Grounded's insect-filled sandbox with the 1.0 release of Obsidian's larger-than-life survival game. Here are 11 tips for surviving the backyard in Grounded. To ensure you don't waste precious time with an unnecessary resource grind, make sure to craft and make use of production utility items, like the spinner and the jerky rack, instead of crafting items at a crafting table. When you craft berry leather, for example, normally it takes multiple berry chunks to create one piece of leather, but with the jerky rack, you can create leather at a 1-to-1 conversion rate, saving time and resources. The same can be said of crude rope, which you will need a ton of throughout your adventure, and using the spinner utility item will make you more efficient. When you pick up a new kind of item for the first time, you'll want to bring it to the field station and research it at a resource analyzer before using it or storing it away. This will reveal any recipes associated with that ingredient for you to craft and gives you valuable raw science points, which can be spent to unlock a whole host of game-changing upgrades and perks. Also, by analyzing enough items, you'll eventually level up your brain power, which gives you access to some of the most important craftable items in the game. You can use the peeper button to scan creatures and add them to your data index to gain valuable insight on their resistances and, more importantly, their weaknesses. The first time you see a new kind of creature, make sure to stop and scan it before doing anything else. This will inform how you proceed and will tell you which items you can gain by looting that creature. Scanning creatures also unlocks a mutation that makes your critical hits do more damage. Scan enough and you'll become a much more deadly explorer. One of the odder quirks in Grounded is that sleeping reduces your hunger and thirst meters to critical levels upon waking up. For this reason, I do not recommend wasting good food or water on a meal right before sleeping. Instead, it's best to simply go to bed hungry and enjoy a big breakfast right when you wake up. It is the most important meal of the day, after all. One unfortunate mechanic in Grounded is that sometimes enemies can knock held items out of your hands and send them careening into the distance. Even more frustrating is that it's easy to not notice that your item has been lost, so you may find yourself unexpectedly missing your most precious possession. Try to be mindful of the items in your hand, and if something goes missing, retrace your steps to a place where you entered combat, especially if something exploded near you. Furthermore, if your inventory is full and an equipped item breaks, your character will automatically drop it, which is also not mentioned in an alert of any kind. Try to keep a few spaces open in your inventory, or be vigilant about repairing items before they break. Otherwise, you might leave behind an item without noticing. Early on in Grounded's campaign, after completing the easiest of the game's dungeons, the Hedge Lab, you'll unlock access to the Resource Surveyor, a tool that lets you locate any resource in the backyard that you've already analyzed. This can save you time and a headache, as you won't have to wander around hoping to run into a bombardier beetle. Now you can just select the part you're looking for and see where they can be found on the map. Even better, once you've selected the resource you're looking for, its location will continue to show on your map every time you open it, with no need to revisit the Surveyor again. Exploring the backyard is a ton of fun, but sometimes you need to get where you're going quickly without fighting 15 spiders along the way. I recommend constructing and making use of ziplines as early as possible to speed along travel times. Simply construct an anchor at each end of the zipline and make sure one anchor is significantly higher than the other in elevation. Then use silk rope to connect the two, and you've got yourself a functioning zipline. Anchors can also be used for multiple ziplines, making it easy to create a wire for an outgoing and incoming zipline. Building bases around the backyard will be extremely important to your survival and efficiency when out in the field. To speed along construction of new bases, you can use zip lines to transport raw materials like grass planks and weed stems. Simply carry the items in hand, aim at the desired zip line, and interact with it, and you'll see the item attach itself to the zip line and be carried away. You can use this to efficiently get lots of stored materials at one base to a secondary base in need of those materials. This is especially useful if you're trying to transport materials in one biome that are not readily available in another. Early in the game, you'll be quite squishy, and one of the easiest ways to improve your survivability in combat is by blocking with a shield. Luckily, a Weevil shield is available early on in the game and is very easy to craft and maintain. Even if you aren't comfortable trying to parry attacks, you can withstand exponentially more damage by simply blocking when your enemies lean in to take a bite out of you. Plus, shields are the safest way to practice parrying, which is an invaluable skill later on. There's no two ways about it. Parrying is one of the strongest combat options in Grounded, and mastering it will make you nearly unstoppable. By timing your blocks right when an enemy's attack strikes you, practically any incoming damage can not only be deflected, but doing so will stop your opponent in their tracks and leave an opening for you to press the attack, even if you aren't using a shield. This is especially important since certain areas will require you to carry a torch, meaning shields are not an option. To master parrying, I suggest holding out a shield in front of you and just watching the attack patterns of each new enemy you discover. Mutations are an incredibly valuable set of perks that can be swapped at will for no cost. For this reason, you should select new mutations to suit whatever situation you're in at that present moment. Playing with friends? Put on the reliable friend mutation to more quickly revive teammates. Fighting with a giant club? Slap on that barbarian mutation to enter a berserker rage. It's free, fast, and massively beneficial, so don't hesitate to try new things. So there's 11 tips for playing Grounded. Hopefully these suggestions will help you stay alive and aid you in your quest to conquer some old guy's backyard. For more, check out our full review of Grounded's 1.0 release, and for everything else, keep touching grass with IGN.